Okay, so today we're going to do a manifestation video. Most of my content has been on Facebook Live, so please bear with me while I transition into the tube of you. Yes, I'm on one. I'm wearing bathing suit, bottoms, so this is not porn. This is not porn, as Miranda Sings would say. Um, but I just went grocery shopping. Oh, and I got to put the stuff that's frozen away. So we're going to talk about um, the mindset of manifestation. How it is very possible that you were raised in a mindset of depletion, can't, don't have, we don't have it, we can't buy it, we can't afford it, don't waste anything, never throw any food away. Does that sound like how you were raised? If you're 80s, 90s, like maybe even like born 5 years ago, baby, this very well could be the case because the lack mentality is, I'm so over that fly. The lack mentality um, is perpetuated. It's passed on from generation to generation. So I'm going to tell you my story and how I broke that cycle in my lineage. I'm going to turn this around because I have to put the abundance of groceries that I'm putting away. Also, I just want to say that if you are watching this, I guess trigger alert possibly, if you are going through a financial hardship right now, if you are struggling, and this is not me bragging in any way. This is me sharing. Last year, this exact time, I was on assistance for SNAP benefits because I had been wrongfully fired from a new job where I was injured. I got like a major chemical burn in my eye from like industrial grade powdered bleach. And I have a cleaning business, but I had like started to like taper off clientele, which was very limited anyways because I was getting child support from my ex-husband and things like that. This would be a long story, so I'm just gonna try to explain. Like, for me, COVID quarantine life had been going on for all of 2019 and half of 2018. And it wasn't until, I would say, the last quarter of 2019 where I switched it. And I'm going to share with you how I did that. Okay, so let me turn around because I know my ice cream is melting. Okay, so voila. Let me slide this closer so we don't have too many booty shots. But again, this is just a bathing suit because I'm going to go to the pool later. All right, so I'm never the best at multitasking, so let me quickly at least find, aha. Oh, it's already soft. So delicious, like it says. All right, so here's how you manifest. Well, first of all, before you can manifest, you have to change the way. Also, thick, big girls, okay, all that. No body shaming. Don't be a hater. Either way, I don't care. Okay, let me stay focused. I got you guys. All right. So now, the first thing that you have to extract from your thought process is lack mentality. Let me also state that our parents raised us, generally speaking, the best way that they could. Like, this is what they were taught, so this is what they are doing, or what they did, okay? I was raised in I guess, lower middle class family, when my parents were married, they separated and divorced when I was 12, and my brother was like 10 or 11. My father worked for nonprofit organizations in the religious sector. So when budgets were cut, because he was on the creative team, he did television work. When budgets were cut, he was cut. Okay? So my dad was laid off so many times through my childhood, okay, and young adulthood. It was just part of really how it was for us. My mother was a stay-at-home mom during the times that they were married, and I think it was only like the last year that she ended up going to work to try to help out the financial aspects of my dad being self-employed, freelance type of guy, okay? I'm not going to get into the interpolitics of, oh, they should have done this, they should have done that, because those are there. But that's their marriage, and I'm learning to stay in my lane and understand that all marriages have issues. We're all people, and I'm sure we could all been like looking backwards like, yeah, I guess I could have done something better. But the result was that we didn't ever have enough anything. I remember times when we lived in LA and like things were so bad that we had to live with my grandparents. My stomach's going to growl in a minute. When we did actually get our own place, although I remember it being really cool and nice, but there was like an ant infestation there, and things were so bad that like the ants had gotten into our cereal, and literally it was like, well, you're going to have to like get the ants out so you can eat breakfast. Okay, so I know that probably sounds really gross. Like, they weren't like flavored chocolate ants in a delicatessen someplace like in a foreign country. These were like real live ants. So it was pretty like, it was bad, okay? I'm not saying that we were homeless in any way, shape, or form, okay? I'm not trying to like be extra, but it wasn't the greatest. We didn't have like a lot of toys, a lot of things. Even when my parents and or dad, because he ended up becoming a single parent, even when he got it together, it was always short-lived. And then let's throw into a realistic fact. I became a teen mom at I got pregnant at 15 3/4, had my first child at 16, and of course, with my father wanting to keep me in school and not drop out, you know, there was now daycare expenses. Even with me going to work, I know as a 16-year-old working very part-time, that's really not doing anything. So I will own the fact that I also caused a financial hardship when I was 16. All right, let me see. What else am I trying to say? So basically what I'm saying is that our family had a lot of financial setbacks, okay? Basically, that's what this long story is, but I want to make sure that I'm giving you guys proper information so you can understand, like, this isn't just me saying, like, I've had hard times, like, you know, just recently or anything like that. Like, literally, this has been going on for as long as I can remember, with the exception of when I had my second child and decided to become self-employed, and I was married, and so it was a 2 household earner income, and so things, yes, were definitely different because of that. Now, because we were raised to never, ever, ever throw food away, we can't afford this. We can't afford that. We can't afford that. We can't do it right now. Sorry, guys. You know, that was just the language of my family. I wouldn't, you know, like for maybe some of my cousins and things like that, that may have happened too. But I didn't live around them long enough to really say, like, I know for sure that that's what their whole childhood was about. So all I can tell you is mine, okay? But that's where we were raised. you never ever threw away food. You had to sit there and eat all your dinner, or you'd be sitting there all night. Okay. So, as I had children, as shared, I had my first one when I was 16. Then 10 years later, I had my second child. And then I do have grandchildren as well. So my eldest child had her first baby at 19. And then another one 4 years later, I think Max was born. So there are 4 children that are my babies. Like, my daughter raises her own children, but I'm saying, like, they're my babies. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so where am I going with this? Okay, so I have taught this to them. And then my daughter, I would say that she probably adapted to this, but then I think she probably just did it her own way. I don't think she really clung to that type of philosophy as much as I did. I don't think I've asked her about this, but just engaging, like, what I can tell you about it. I don't think Brooklyn is as hardcore and rigid about that. Yeah, she's definitely like the cooler mom. So when did this change for me? I would say that January of 2019 is when a whole soul shift happened for me. And I got a lot of healing in the areas of like family lineages, interpersonal relationship type of healing. I didn't know I was codependent, but found out that I was. No shade, because I'm cool with this person now. And this everybody's on their own journey, so you don't know to act better until you realize that there's an actual problem. But based on everything that I've learned about covert narcissists, I was definitely, I'm pretty sure, married to one. But then again, I was codependent, very much so, and probably passive-aggressive in certain aspects of my behavior for sure. So I'm not saying I was a prize, okay? But I guess, why am I saying that? Why did I even talk about that? I don't even know right now. This is because I'm, like, multitasking, but I'm trying to work through these things and become bigger and better at talking and working at the same time. So, raised my children that way, taught these things to my grandchildren when they were very little. It wasn't until, okay, that's what I was telling you, until January of 2019 when I learned that I was codependent, that I learned that I was more than likely married to and dated, lived with same person from the ages of like 22 to 34, a covert narcissist. And so I raised my children and grandchildren in this lack mentality. When I started to listen to Ralph Smart, Aaron Doughty, for sure. I think, to be honest, Aaron was the one that first, that I can remember, that introduced not living in lack. And then his, at the time, girlfriend Leeora, she talked about it. And there's a number of other YouTubers that I definitely listen to. I will say for sure, Ashera7, also known as AsheraStarGoddess, definitely helped raise my frequency and being able to become a manifester. This might sound really like weird for some of y'all, but I think for most of y'all, this is making sense because you do attract your soul tribe. So people that watch your content are typically your people. So for most of you, this is going to make a lot of sense. For those of you that are like, this sounds really esoteric, way out there, you know, I would just say give it some time, kind of like a new Netflix show or Hulu show. We try to have like a basic foundational, like, give it 3 shows. You never know. Because there's lots of times I'm like, yo, this thing looks so dumb. But then I gave it that third show, and I'm like, oh, I'm glad I gave it that third show because I totally love this show now. So, or if it's just rubbing you all the wrong way, honey, just click off me. Um, so, Aaron Doughty, Ralph Smart, AsheraStarGoddess, Share 7. There's going to be some more, and I'll try to link them in the information, but through their teachings, and let me explain how this happened, because I definitely had a concentrated dose of these people. I do cleaning and janitorial business, so I'm always listening to them. I have YouTube Red, so I don't have to have the app open or anything like that to actually watch the video. I don't have time to watch videos, but for easily 8-9 hours a day, I'm listening to them. I'm listening to Law of Attraction, not all of them, but certain Law of Attraction videos and or audiobooks, and taking what resonates and leaving what doesn't. Sometimes it resonates later, and then sometimes so far it doesn't resonate at all. And that's just your truth will marry the truth that resonates with it, okay? But once I realized that my words, but the feeling is the secret, which is a book, one of the audiobooks that I've listened to. I don't know if I've listened to all of it. It's not just saying I am going to own a business, or I'm not going to be depressed, or I'm not, and maybe I shouldn't have used that example because I understand that is a reality, that if you're not equipped with certain things, that is your reality. Also, there's real chemical imbalances, so even with having the right mindset, chemical imbalances are chemical imbalances. And so I am not a doctor, and I'm not saying that. Just, think happy thoughts, and you don't have to take your anxiety pills or whatever they are. All I'm saying is that research this stuff, look into it, because it can definitely change and heal your body and your mindset. So your words have power, which is what I was saying. But more importantly, how you think is the most powerful. So if I feel abundant, if I feel that I'm not in lack, that is telling my subconscious that I'm not in lack. It also tells the universe to keep replenishing me, because the way the universe works is that it's going to fill the void. So if you had this cup, okay, and it's full, because the natural state of abundance of the universe is this, okay? It fills it up, all right? You're going to have a full cup. That's why there's so many trees. That's why there's so many birds, so many flowers, okay? Generally, naturally speaking, we live in abundance. I'm not talking about animals or plants or things that went extinct. I'm talking about generally. And when you use a resource, then you tell the universe, hey, I need to be topped off here. And then the universe does this, okay, every time. But if you're always in this type of mode, okay, well, that's all we can do, you're never, ever really getting topped off. You're never getting new. You're just having stale, old, barely used water, okay? You guys just try to gather what I'm saying here. Maybe it's not making sense, but I'm doing the best I can to show you how this works. All right, so how this works, how I did this. Now remember, this time last year, like I said, I was on SNAP benefits. I had a total income, which included child support, around $1,400. And depending on where you are in the country, maybe that's a lot, maybe that's a whole little bit. But just to give you an idea, my rent is almost $1,700. Okay, I have 2 cars and all the things. Okay, so it was definitely problematic. How that happened, like I said, I lost a full-time job that I had just got, and then I had started to segue out of my cleaning business because it's very physical. And so I was like, I'm just going to get like a regular 9 to 5 and just kind of grow with the company for the next like 10 or 15 years or something like that. But that didn't work out, as I already shared how. And then 6 months to a year before that, I had my child support completely cut in half. So I wasn't always in that, oh my gosh, I don't have enough money to pay my bills, because I had like a really good amount of child support, plus my little clientele, plus I worked at Starbucks and had like side money. So I was always hustling, I was always working. This wasn't because I was just like, I just need to have child support and not do anything. Not at all. Always a hustler, always a worker. Have owned my own business since the age of 26, okay? And I've actually had a couple and a few businesses. So that's not the message that I'm sending. That's you, do you, boo. That's fine, but that's not what I was doing. So how I did this. While I was still on SNAP benefits. And when I say SNAP benefits, I also mean that I had family members taking me to the grocery store, because you don't really get a whole lot. I'm thankful for what I received, but you don't really get a whole lot. I had my dad paying my other car payment for almost a year because I couldn't afford to pay it. So it was a real situation. But what I did during this time, after realizing that I was living in lack, I was telling the universe, don't give it to me. I don't have it. I don't have it. We can't. And what I did is 2 things. And it's going to sound maybe silly, but like my daughter loves Japanese food. She loves like Shiki, this place called Shiki, and they do like the teriyaki chicken and all that kind of stuff. Nothing extravagant, like not crab legs or lobster, but just something that would have cost like maybe total for her to eat and I like $30, okay? And what I started doing is like, you know what? When she asked, about once a week, I would be like, yeah, sure, let's get it. Yep, I got it. And I would put it on my credit card, okay? Sometimes I would have the money. But like I said, I knew that, I told you, I had $1,400 income. I was like, I'm just going to put it on my credit card. I'm just going to put it on my credit card. Not a big deal. And that was the first thing that I did, was saying yes. Like, yeah, we got it. Sure, no problem. And it wasn't just like, oh, okay, yeah, sure, I'll get it. Like, that means you don't have it, and the feeling is the secret. So you're definitely not telling the universe, like, yeah, cool, I got this. This is no problem. You're saying, like, this is like totally a struggle. Hold on, guys, I gotta find my phone. And so that's not abundance, that's lack. Oh, here it is. So that was the first thing I did. Then the second thing I did is that when we would eat, with the exception of actually having enough to put away for leftovers, instead of being like, you better eat all that, you have to eat all that, I'd be like, no, just throw it away, it's fine, no big deal. We got it. We live in abundance. I would also say it, like speak it out, like money comes to me easily and effortlessly. I would say things, and most importantly, started writing them in my planner. I would write, I could actually read it to you. Let me find my books. These are some of the things that I would say and write down every month in every planner. Like for every month, I would redo this. Now, this is a new planner, so I only have 1 month. But like, if you can see, like here on the sides, everywhere where it looks like there's like a lot of words, that's me writing down, the universe has an overabundance of favor for me and mine. We have paths where all needs, divine wants, desires are met and overflowing always, period. Archangels of luck, safety, and love are ever around. We have the power of divine healing and intuition. Closed hearts are open. I think I'm speaking something else also to in existence. Ashe. We are in constant flow of money, favor, gifts, grace, adoration, patience, views for social media. You can do that too, guys. Learning new skills. Money is my precious dear friend. I love you, money. Money flows to me and mine easily, abundantly, and effortlessly. Ashe. And I'll just read this one to you. Thoth, which you'll learn about in the Emerald Tablets if you continue to follow me, but just universe, high frequency only ancestors, angels, spirit guides, and spirit animals and soul guides, truly thank you all for showering me and mine with constant flowing and overflowing of financial gifts, abundance, favor, excellent health. Oh, I put gifts again. I mean, wisdom, divine knowledge, clear intuition, math, science, understanding, clear communication that flows for the highest calling. My physical body will be firm and strong, long, full, dark eyelashes, because these are like, you know, the kind that you buy. Round, full booty. I'm manifesting all this, you guys. Strong, feminine arms, because this has got the little wiggle there. Excellent youth-filled skin and elasticity. So I've actually upped my manifestation from just like not just financial and like soul spiritual things. Like I'm actually going for like my body, okay? Which you can do this. But this is what I would do in writing every month. There's a lot of power in the pen. I think pen and paper is very powerful. They're earth elements, at least as far as the paper is concerned. Maybe for ink also. But also, again, you have to feel it. So I started feeling this way. Throwing the food away, no big deal. We're not going to save a little corner of rice because we're just not. And ordering the food when my daughter wanted it. The other thing is that I, as doing house cleaning and janitorial work, I would just kind of dress like in my like vintage pink sweats, a tank top, like nothing major. You know, I really wasn't growing my clientele. I wasn't not trying to, but I just was like, whatever. But I went ahead and bought clothes because I was like, you know, I really need to like up my level. Like I'm almost 18 years into this field. I'm the owner operator of this company, and I just kind of look like I'm like her assistant instead of it being me. So I didn't have the money, and I didn't want to just keep like adding things to my credit card. So there's these cool apps that are called Quad Pay, I think. Let me look. Where basically it's no interest. I think it's $1 fee per transaction, but it's Quad Pay and Klarna are the two apps that I use. And basically you could go shopping and then have 4 installments over 6 weeks. And so like you could spend $200, but basically only spend $50 every 2 weeks to pay it off. And again, it's no interest. And so I did that. So I got like a couple orders from Shein because AsheraStarGoddess had said that they were good quality. And so I did it. And I was able to change up my look. And it wasn't very expensive as far as like the clothes. It's Shein. It's not expensive. Plus, the way that I purchased it made it affordable because I broke it up into 4 installments over 6 weeks. So that also was me just living in abundance. Actually, it's also me stepping out in faith. If you're a Christian and you're like, what is all this abundance manifestation thing? It's the same thing as like stepping out in faith, okay? And I probably should have said that earlier in the video, but everything happens for a reason when it's supposed to happen. So maybe that's when you were saying like, what is this all about? Possibly. But when I did that, things changed. Literally, cannot even explain to you. Like, it's so real. I started getting more accounts. So much so where like not only did I replace the income that I lost for child support, but I also I was starting to replace the income that I lost with that job. Now that job was only a month, but you have to remember that I started to segue out of my clientele. I ended up losing my Topgolf job because of this job that I went to work for full time was also contract work for me because I did summer rental turnovers for them. So I would put this as precedence over like my little side hustle. And one time it was like there was a booking and people were coming. It was like, do you work your Topgolf shift or do you go make sure that you keep this contractor happy who is about to be your employer in about 4 weeks? So I ended up losing my side hustle because I chose it. So it wasn't just that I lost the part-time or the full-time job from them, but I also lost contractor work from them. That was probably about, like, the full-time job wasn't a lot of money. It was like $12 an hour for 40 hours. And I did get some overtime. But the contract work was probably at least $800 a month or more. So it was a heavy hit to me financially, is what I'm trying to say. So last year at this time, I was making, or at my income, including child support, which 900 of it was child support, was about $1,400, $1,500, okay? Fast forward to right now, the financial snapshot of my income right now is about $5,500 a month. And that includes 0 child support starting effectively this month. So please understand when I tell you that you have to start in faith, in doubt, like, yo, I can't believe I'm doing this, but that girl said it worked for her, and, you know, research these other people, because it wasn't just one video where I heard, you know, don't be in lack mindset. Like, this was me listening to hours and hours and hours and hours and using discernment and knowing when I was hearing truth, and realizing, like, for certain things, like especially things that AsheraStarGoddess shares, that I was totally shortchanging myself. And even though AsheraStarGoddess's videos are typically about, like, well, they're about how to be a sugar baby, basically, like all the guides and stuff like that, I realized, especially why I started to listen to her other channel, which is the total opposite in regards to what the content is about, is that when you live in abundance, when you realize you're a star seed, for me personally, I realized that I don't need a sugar daddy. Like, that's how desperate I started to get. Like, you know, I was like, oh my God, I'm just gonna, like, have to be a sugar baby. Like, that's where my mentality went. Like, I've always been hardworking, self-employed, go-getter, this type, the other thing. But I was like, yo, like, I can't make it off of $1,400. Like, I'm gonna have to do something. And so, like, I was willing to be open to being like, well, I guess I'm gonna go on dates and, you know, be a sugar baby. But then I realized this whole year, for sure, 2020, and I never did do that, by the way. Like, the couple times where I could have met somebody, I just flaked out. I couldn't do it. But I was so willing to learn. But I think what I learned from her were that it's an option, for sure, and that there's a real game around it, and that I got comfortable with it, because I used to shame women like that like expected to be taken care of. I think actually that was the real reason why I was introduced to AsheraStarGoddess, is because I used to look down on women that expected to be taken care of, or didn't want to, like, go half on a date or be willing and things like that. And I realized that hypergamy, I think is the word, is something that is actually very pro-feminine. I know that it might seem like, how? You're asking somebody to, like, take care of you. But the thing is that, and this would be a whole other video, is that as a true feminine energy, which doesn't necessarily mean female gender, let's be clear. That could be a male gender that has a true feminine energy. It's good to find your masculine energy, that this is what they dig. This is what they want to do. They want to take care of you. They want to be a provider as much as you want to be taken care of and do things and provide for them in other ways. And I'm not just talking about sex, you guys. I'm talking about, it takes a real effort to make a house a home. It's a full-time business. That's why people end up hiring nannies and housekeepers, pool boys, girls, okay, pool people, landscapers, all the people to take care of your house. Literally, if somebody was there and they had the interest and or desires, lots of those things could be, you know, 86, all right? But having a home is a full-time job. It's your first empire. then on top of it, having your own business or businesses, you know, people have to be dedicated to that. And a lot of things that end up being the problem is that people are stretching themselves too thin and they're not using the people in their actual family to take care of things. Many times that the two earner income, somebody's just working to mostly pay for daycare, for the gas to go to that job, and to support that job, like lunches and things like that, or clothes. I'm not saying that's always the case, but a lot of times it's just like, well, really, how much are you making after it's all said and done? $1,000? Maybe there's another way for you to make $1,000 a month or every 2 weeks where you could be at home or where you could work half the time. Those are always possibilities. For sure, in the house cleaning industry, you can make anywhere from $30 to $60 an hour, like if you were to break it down, providing a service for homes to be cleaned and or offices. And depending on the office structure, you could maybe be making $100 an hour. So it's there. Then there's people that sell things, make jewelry, make teas, make all these things that you could do, okay? So always do what works for your family. I would just say maybe be open to exploring what might be more suited for your talents and gifts. But I think I was talking about Shira 7. Basically, what she taught me was that, first of all, I was dead ass wrong for being so hard on women. And for sure, which I've owned this, but like I was super hard on my husband's ex, who I do believe in the little surface information that I know about her, had this mentality, and I threw so much shade at her and like really held myself to like, oh, well, I'm not that way and I'll never be like her. And you know, when you're like that and you're so judgmental, even though you couldn't tell me I was being judgmental when I was saying those things, stuff comes to bite you in the ass and you will get knocked off your high horse, like you just will. So, one second. So, I know that watching Shira 7 definitely taught me to, or Shira 7 taught me that lesson. But what I'm saying is that I realize that I'm my own damn sugar daddy. Like, I don't need one. Like, I literally don't. I got it. I got it and then some. So, and I'm teaching this now to my daughters. You have to go and reprogram. Now, they're adults. One is almost 19 and one is almost 29. So at this point, it's heavy presentation style. I can't go ham because they're adults. And much of it, I would say, is being received. And, you know, but then they have to figure it out for themselves and really see what works. But I will say that within 1 year, because I went with total manifestation thought process, affirmations, the feeling is the secret, believing that I am a goddess, believing and not believing, knowing I'm a goddess, knowing that my natural state on this, in this universe, on this earth, just like the other things out of nature, is abundance, abundance, abundance. And once you realize that that is how the divine creators intended it for you to be, but that your true thought process and your thoughts and those feelings behind those thoughts is what creates and perpetuates your reality. And once you realize that you're programmed in lack mentality, no, we can't, I don't have the money. You know I don't have the money. Why are you even asking me? Like, all of that. And again, I did that and knew that reality and that life from birth to, I'm 45, so 44, okay? That was my mindset all the time. But changing that and going, knowing that the universe is going to provide for me, that abundance flows to me easily and effortlessly, and it does. Yes, I have to work hard, okay? Like, I'm not sitting here just on the couch and this over $5,000 comes to my house every month. Not saying that you can't manifest that, okay? It's our limiting beliefs that shortchange manifestation, but it's a progress and it's a path. Because I would have been like, wait, so you're just saying I have to believe that I live in abundance, but mostly feel it, and then that's what's going to happen? I'd have been like, yo, like whatever you're smoking, or maybe you're dehydrated, maybe you need some sleep, but that's impossible. I would definitely have went into that route. But what I did, so that my knee-jerk reaction ended up not being that, was realizing that actually, where's my water? Or coffee. Actually, has the other way been working for me? So when I looked at it like, well, I have been saving. I have been like, oh my gosh, trying to save money. Oh my gosh, don't spend anything. Oh my gosh, don't throw anything away. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. I really didn't have anything to show for it. So at the point that I was at, which was on SNAP benefits, having family members bring me food for me and my daughter, you know, my dad paying my car note for a whole year, and it was a almost $400 car note, so it was no easy task. Also, because I think this has a lot to do with it, because of my soul and spirit development and journey of letting go of old hurts, because your frequency will determine how much you manifest. If you're low frequency, will you manifest? Yes. Will it be as much? I don't think so. Okay, I'm just saying that. Fact check me, do your research. And what I'm telling you, understand that I wasn't always this person. I was very much on my soapbox, on my high horse, super judgmental. I had to learn to change that. I had to learn to let that go. I held on to childhood hurts, mostly because I didn't understand them. Once I understood soul ties and us being star children, and school life, earth is like a school. This is a not real, for just to like, it's gonna sound weird, but maybe not. This is almost just like a place, like how you go to Disneyland. Like, you don't live in Disneyland, you're just visiting and you're experiencing it. That's really kind of what earth is. And that's what I've learned, and I understand that it's truth, and for me it makes sense. If it doesn't make sense for you, that's okay. But I was able to let go of a lot of old hurts, was able to have empathy with the things that I saw and judged my parents for, or family members, and let them go. Not saying that things are perfect, not saying that, oh yeah, we all are a happy family and we all hang out together. I also had to learn to let go of family members that were staying in old 3D, very judgmental ways. That just wasn't flowing for me. And so I can love people from a distance and allow myself to see them, you know, once or twice a year, but I don't have to spend time with them just because they're my family member, because of all the triggering things that take place and bring me down and can take me back. It's almost like being an addict. Like, you can hang out with your addict friends maybe, like under supervision, like not any place where you would be tempted by things. And maybe I'm wrong. I've never been to a 12-step thing, so I might be saying the wrong thing. But I think you guys know what I'm saying. So you do have to change your heart. And that really is what does it. Also, I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't do any of those things. I'm not saying it like if you do. I mean, obviously smoking isn't good for you. It's cigarettes. If you smoke weed, if that's your thing and that helps you, that's fine. But one thing you'll learn from watching Erin's videos is that, yes, weed can help people, I think, like with anxiety and things like that. But on the frequency scale, it's low. There's other things that you can do to get high, okay, and truly help yourself. There's breathing techniques and lots of things that you could do to shift your reality and level up your frequency. So pretty much that's it, guys. I'm going to end this video here. I'll be doing more to share this, but I hope that you got a lot from this. And subscribe to me if you like this. And bye.